Hey, this is Justin Sinceri. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist who is obsessed with the Polyvagal Theory. This is a clip from a discussion/interview that I did with a small nursing support group. They asked me to come in and just talk about Polyvagal Theory, got to field some questions, and this is a clip from that. If you'd like access to the entire talk, consider becoming a patron. If you become a patron, it's only $5 a month, and with that $5 a month, you get access to an entire podcast that is exclusive just for patrons, besides my Stuck Not Broken regular weekly podcast. That's about it though. Enjoy this clip. So the Polyvagal Theory is from Dr. Stephen Porges, and it's really highlighted that there are a couple of different uses for the vagus nerve itself. And it's kind of the science, it's not about, it's called Polyvagal Theory, but it's really not exactly about the vagus. It is, but it really isn't, especially what we take from it. It should really be more about how we feel, what kind of behaviors we have access to, our level of social engagement, social connection, because it's really the science of how mammals connect with each other, but also how we respond to danger. And so how we kind of repel from each other as well. So it's not just about the vagus nerve, which gets lots of attention, but really it's more of this experiential thing that we can learn the foundation of and then apply to ourselves and get a new paradigm. Yeah, kind of a new narrative. So it's like a new paradigm for viewing the world, the scientific lens of the Polyvagal Theory. But then we apply it to ourselves, we can get a new narrative. And as Nadia was saying earlier, it's less judgment, less blame. There's no shame in it. It simply is the science of kind of how mammals connect and repel from each other. So the idea is that we have, and it's all built upon the autonomic nervous system. That's really the central focus of Polyvagal Theory, is the autonomic nervous system. And there's different uses for the autonomic nervous system. I'm sure everyone knows what that is, but basically the basic idea is it controls all the stuff that we don't have to think about, right? No one thinks about or plans their breathing or their digestion. Right now I'm just digesting food. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to think about how much danger I'm in or not in. My autonomic nervous system is able to do that, all those things for me, which allows me to use my conscious mind for things like this, or binging Netflix or watching a 40-hour game or whatever else I want to do. So it's all about the autonomic nervous system and how this system kind of gets, I'll say repurposed, or how it gets adapted maybe for different scenarios in life. So ideally, we are in the ventral vagal state of safety and social engagement. It's one of there's two parasympathetic branches. Usually it's sympathetic versus parasympathetic, but Dr. Porges in the Polyvagal Theory proposed that there's actually two utilizations for, there's two parasympathetic branches, both of which come from the vagus nerve. So the first one is the safety and social engagement, parasympathetic ventral vagal branch. And that, when that is active, that allows us to socially engage with each other. If that's not active, we don't really have access to prosocial behaviors like making eye contact and smiling, or making eye crinkles, like when you listen, these little crinkles form here in your eye that indicates that I'm a safe mammal. If I was in a flight-fight energy, I wouldn't be able to do that. So those pathways, the ventral vagal pathways, kind of get cut off. We don't really have access to them. And so when we have access to them, we can do those prosocial things. We can get closer together. We can hug each other. We can use something called vocal prosody, which is just having a greater range of voice, like that sing-songy quality of your voice, where you can go up, like when you have a question, and you can bring your voice up to signify what you mean. Or you can lower your voice if something's really serious and your boss calls you in the office and they have something really important to say to you. They lose their vocal prosody. Like right now I have enough vocal prosody to show that I'm relatively a safe mammal, right? Or human being, but we're talking about mammals in general, that mammals have this pro-social, social engagement safety pathway that they can access. Reptiles don't, birds don't, fish don't. So that's the first autonomic nervous system state. We have 3 different states. That's the first one. And that's the evolutionary most recent one. If we can't access the safe and social state, we drop down what's called the Polybagel Ladder. And the Polyvagal Ladder is a metaphor for how these autonomic nervous system states are built basically into our bodies. The safe and social state connects from our face to our neck directly to our heart. So the condition of our heart directly affects how much we can express ourselves through our facial muscles or tilt our head when we're listening. If we're not safe, we can't do those things. The flight-fight system is the second polyvagal state, and that's the sympathetic nervous system. And pretty obvious that system is for evasion, running away. That's the flight system. And the fight system is for using aggression. And it's not just to beat people up, it's to use aggression to create space so that someone can then escape utilizing the flight system and get out of whatever situation that is. So if we can't be safe, we drop down into our flight-fight system, but specifically it's flight, then fight. So if we can't be safe, then we drop down to our flight system. If we can't run away, or if we can't avoid this situation, we drop down into our fight energy, the fight sympathetic behaviors, in order to create space and then run away and then get to safety. But if we can't run away and we can't fight, we drop even further down the polyvagal ladder into our shutdown, the dorsal vagal. This is the second parasympathetic branch. We drop into our shutdown state. And the shutdown state is responsible for collapsing. It looks like death feigning, playing dead, possums, playing possum. When a mouse gets in the jaws of a cat, it's not necessarily dead. It might just be limp. That dorsal vagal system has basically come alive and the body collapses. Those pathways are responsible for that collapse kind of behavior. So those are the three basic primary states of the autonomic nervous system, of the polyvagal theory. These things can mix, but those are the three basic ones so far, and they're built within us in a hierarchy. They evolved in this hierarchical fashion. So if we can't be safe, drop down in sympathetic. If we can't run away, can't fight, we drop down into shutdown state. The shutdown state's the oldest one. It lives in our gut. You can feel it. If you're in a situation that's just kind of creepy, like that system comes alive in your gut and you can kind of feel it twist. The flight-fight system, you can feel your heartbeat pick up. Your eyes might go wide as you focus. Your range of attention is really kind of gets narrow. So as nurses, you probably experienced that in really intense situations that flight-fight system came on. You weren't running away, you weren't fighting, but it's more about being mobilized. In that system, you can mobilize. And in the dorsal vagal shutdown system, it's more about immobilizing. It's about collapsing.